April 28, 2026. Council meeting order. Treasurer, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Did you say Christine?
Yeah.
Christine. Lisa.
Here.
Marie.
Here.
Dwayne.
Here.
Everyone who can, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, up here, do you guys have any public appearances? Anyone sign up on the sheet up there?
Matthew, can you look out?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're getting to the reports, personal and finance. Forrest.
Yep, I had a meeting.
Do we want to?
Yeah. All right, meeting held.
Shoot, hey, hold on a second. I guess I don't have it on my agenda, but we have to.
Yeah,
Is it on yours?
no, but I have it prepped on the minutes. Can you?
We'll have to wait till next time.
Okay.
All right, personal and finance, go ahead, sorry.
Meeting held April 16th, called to order, myself and Christine present. We approved the minutes for our February meeting. We approved resolution 2026-04, resolution 2026-05. We had a motion to approve Baker Tilly engagement, had discussion regarding EMS grant expense uses. Bansma had arrived at 6:15. We had a motion to approve our bills for March and set our next meeting for May 19th, 6 o'clock at City Hall and adjourned at 6:22 p.m.
Thanks. Public Works, Jim?
Okay, Public Works and Development Committee meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. by Chairperson Bansma. Members present, Bansma, Fensky, Schmitz. Members absent, none. Motion by Schmidt, second by Fensky to approve the March 5th, 2026 minutes. All voting aye, motion carried. Public appearances, none. Cody Vanderhyde, Director of Public Works Utilities, provided a monthly update on the DPW and wastewater and water departments. Discussion on Chapter 223, bicycles, electric bicycles, play vehicles, and electric mobility devices. Set the next meeting for Thursday, May 7th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at DPW Conference Room. Motion by Schmidt, second by Pensky to adjourn. All voting aye. The meeting adjourned at 6:43 p.m.
Thanks, Jim. Public Safety, Marie?
No meeting due to weather.
Parks, there was no meeting. Plan Commission, Lisa?
They met in regular session with Mayor Moss presiding. The meeting was called to order at 6. Members present was Miles Gallenbeck, Amundsen, Cody Vanderheim, Magnuson, Westmeyer, Biederman, and Herring. Also present was Alex Williams from MSA. Absent were Buzz Vanderheim and Lisa Sullivan. Motion by Amundsen, second by Biederman to act on minutes of March 9th. Voice vote was all in favor. Motion by Magnuson, second by Gallenbeck to approve the certified survey map for Marine Park Technical College. Voice vote was all in favor. Motion by Biederman, second by Amundsen to adjourn. All in favor, meeting adjourned at 6:12 p.m.
Thank you. Library report.
I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody for being so kind to me and the library in our transition this past month. Not going to get into nitty gritty, but we are in a very tumultuous time, quite honestly, with our staffing. Our youth services resigned on the same day that Alex left. And thankfully, our long-term clerk, Cassidy McCallum, and I made sure that we don't have any nepotism, just saying, she's stepping in as our interim youth services librarian. So story time is still going, our programs are still going. It's a crazy time. We also had 2 new staff members start. Our library assistant, Allison, and our library clerk, Gracie, started at the beginning and mid of April. So they're still pretty fresh, but I'm very hopeful for them. Not going to say too much about this, but Susie has not been in the library. She is currently on some leave for family matters, and we do not know when she's back. That's my staffing update. More positive stuff. National Library was a great success. Bingo was very fun on Friday with our families that came. And then our videos that we posted on social media, I think were some great publicity for the library. We had a lot of people putting feedback on the videos themselves and coming into the library saying, hey, I didn't know about that, or that was awesome that you shared that, or things like that. So that was wonderful. My last kind of update is that I'm starting something for story time where I'm going to have some community figureheads come in. I've currently got the chief and some of his officers on May 12th for Police Week. And also Mayor Josh Moss is going to come in August to read some stories to some of our kids. So
Mayor Week.
Mayor, I'll dub it. The city council can dub it. There we go. August 5th. But yeah, I'm hoping to start that with our community figureheads. So if you know of anybody that might be interested, I'm more than willing to have them come down and figure out a date.
Can I nominate Rich for DPW?
Okay, well, I've already got Scotty too. Scotty's interested. So, yeah, everything's peachy besides the stuff that isn't, so.
Thank you. All right, chief, you're up.
So I've just got one proposal for the council. Apparently this was a Joe Adamson thing where we hand deliver the packets for the council meetings and the parks meetings and the public safety meetings and things like that. That's archaic and I'd like to do away with it. Some confusion came in a couple weeks ago that the officer forgot to go down and get the packets and they sat there overnight. You guys didn't get them till the next day. So being that we are now stepping into the 2000s, thanks to Chrissy and the mayor, I'd like to do away with that. Everybody, you guys are all issued laptops. You can read the packet on a laptop and we can have a copy here provided for you. Instead of taking 1 to 2 hours a week hand delivering them, then they get forgotten. It doesn't include the gas that it costs. If my cop is busy at the time and I only got one on, he can't do it. So everybody's got a mailbox down here, including myself. If you don't make it down here, no problem. We will have copies of the packets for you. If you could just review it on your laptops before you come down. That way, if you want a hard copy, there'll be one here for you.
The only thing I would say to that is that it is nice to be able to sit there and see the officers and chat. A lot of times it's more than just, hey, thanks for the packet and walk, turn around. Usually how's things going. It's an opportunity that makes, for me, because
I agree.
I work from home. So that part I would miss. But yeah, I agree. I'm all for finding ways to do less paper. It'd just be a matter of us finding ways to engage with the officers.
Yeah, so, and the original idea was to get the officers out there so he could see you guys and you guys can know the officers, but now there's 3. There's Drake, there's Nick, and there's Todd. Those are the only ones that work during the day shift that would ever deliver those. I think you all know them. It's the night guys you don't know, but they never deliver the packets. So it just came up again about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago or whatever, when the call wasn't made to Drake, who was working. They were brought down to the library. Drake forgot it. They sat at the library overnight, and then somebody had to deliver them the next morning. And that's just on the occasion that he's not on an assignment and can deliver them. So I'd like to do away with that. I think it'll save us a lot of time and save us a couple hours a week. And they like to see you guys too. That's not it. But they've come up to me several times and said, geez, I'm sorry. Now Chris is mad at me because I didn't get down there to get the packets and they didn't get to the council members on time. And most of the council members aren't generally home and they just get left there anyway.
Right.
So I'd like to step away from that.
I'm okay with that. And is the library open on Sundays?
No.
That'd be the only other thing. If we wanted to look at a paper copy, we're either printing it at home or come down here to pick it up on a Friday when they're done. So then it'd be a matter of notification, email that packets are posted and available.
Well, that's only if you need a paper copy for us.
Right.
Because you have your computers.
I know I don't, but I know some people like to have that piece of
I do
paper in
too.
their hand.
I do too.
Couldn't we just leave the packets on these desks? Because we have keys so we can get in. And
That's
if they were
true.
just left in
I
here.
think that would actually be a good idea. But I still think there's gonna be times when we have a special.
A special meeting would be a different
That we're gonna still take advantage of the delivery.
Yeah, that would be a different story.
I think with planning commission, I know you guys have delivered for them. Those are appointed people with a committee that's generally set in stone. As long as we mail those out, they usually get those on time. I like the idea of just having the packets here available
Mhm.
on the desks. And I understand you guys want to, you guys want to see the police officers, but it's also good to get downtown and see the city hall staff too during the day. So, I mean, there's different ways around it. But I think it's time. You know, you watch some of these other council meetings, a lot of them have their laptops up and they're following it that way. But I also respect Jim and others that, you know, like the paper. But so paper can be made available for you here, it will be available. So I guess that Chief wanted to bring that up to you guys.
I mean, if somebody were like adamantly against it, it's not that big of a deal that we do it, but like I said, it costs us 4 or 5 hours every month, you know, for all the different meetings.
I know more, I get those hours, I get a packet delivered to my house once a month, and I don't think.
It's not just for council meetings though, Jim.
Not spending that much time, I get all my committee meeting notices up here, the only thing that comes is the council agenda in my house.
That's
I
for me
don't
too.
think it's out of line to deliver those packets, 6 people here, that's it.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with them being here on the
As
table.
long as they're here on the desk, I'm good.
That I could come, because I'm not always within the right hours.
And it's not an
But I can
action
come.
item. I think, you know, if there's a one-off, you guys can make it happen or work.
But yeah, but everybody's got mailboxes. Jim, you happen to be here fairly frequently. You can just grab it out of your mailbox, right?
If it's available.
What's wrong with the delivery?
Because it costs us an hour every time they do that, and then it becomes hard feelings when the cop gets busy and they can't do it, and then they sit at the library overnight, then I get to call the next morning and say, your cop didn't come last night to pick up the packets. And I go, oh, yeah, you're right, he didn't. He was on an assignment, and that kind of takes precedent to delivering the council packets.
The packets are ready on Monday morning
They're usually
in the
done
mailbox, aren't they?
They're Fridays,
Friday.
usually they're
Or Fridays.
completed and posted and
So
ready
there's no
for.
reason why we can't pick them up.
Yeah,
But
they're-
And like
I mean,
said,
if they're here on the desk,
it's
it's
not
great.
an action item today, it's just.
No, it's not, but I mean, anyway, yeah, it's not an action item. I just thought I'd bring it up because it's something that I think should have been done with a long time ago.
Yeah, I get it.
Let's keep moving. All right, my report's gonna be really fast. Welcome, Dwayne.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to new work year, new council. It's gonna be a long one. You know, next week we have public information session on Monday. I highly suggest all of them to be here. You guys will be the ones getting the questions. And then it is Thursday is council, and that's gonna be, right?
Yeah, it's Thursday. I apologize for the typo in the email. The special council meeting will be hosted on Thursday, May 7th.
So
via
next
Teams.
Thursday, and it's gonna be on Teams.
Correct.
So, other than that, that's all I got. All right, moving on, we're gonna get into the meat of the agenda. First, act on ordinance 2026-11. This ordinance repeals and recreates bicycles, electric bicycles, play vehicles, and electric devices. Chapter 223 of the municipal code of the city of Horicon. Marie,
So moved.
Second.
is there any discussion on ordinance 2026-11?
I just want to thank Marie. She was a rock star on this. She grabbed the bull by the horns and ran with it. She even went to a conference in Madison regarding this, on her own time. So you did a great job, Marie. I mean, I
It is
don't
well
think
written.
it could have been
Way to
written
go.
any better. I think you did an awesome job. And we needed one. So thank you again for that.
Thank you for working on it with me too. I really
You did all the
appreciate
work.
it.
All I did was give you the, yep, looks good to me, Marie.
That's all I did.
I checked in a lot though and everything was good. Do you want me to give an overview just of
If
it
you
or
would
we?
like it.
I just want
Go
to, okay. Well, just so that we
As
have
long as
it.
you don't read it, we're for.
I'm not gonna read it to the Jeepers. It is 8 pages. It was 13. I actually cut it down.
Wait.
I just give you the highlights. So the backstory was just that we have a lot of kids in town, especially kids, but adults too, that are riding a lot of electric vehicles, scooters and things. And we kind of wanted to put a little bit of guardrails around that. There is not a lot in the state legislature about these things yet. There's really only the class 1, 2, 3 e-bikes, which we, put into ours, but that's in the state legislature already. But there's not a lot of other stuff. So I'll just give you the really quick highlights of it. We took out of the ordinance registration for bikes. We don't need to do that anymore. You can online register to national registries that are really great. And Chief doesn't have to make special hours to do bike registration, which we weren't really doing much of anyways. And it makes it easier for everyone. We allow the bikes and play vehicles, all the things in the entire city. There was actually restrictions for downtown in our ordinance, which I don't think anybody even knew about. We clarified rules, so if you're under 16 years of age, you have, a lesser scale of things, and you have to wear a helmet this would be the biggest change. There's helmets required for kids that are under 16 and going more than 10 miles an hour. So that basically is like the e-scooters and all those things. There's a max speed of 15 miles per hour on sidewalks, which, thinking of Highway 33 is one of the we don't want a lot of people riding on the road on Highway 33. But they can if they follow the rules of the road as well. No person under 16 can operate a class 3 electric bike or out-of-class electric vehicle, which is part of, the electric bike park is part of our state law already. I think that's about it. And then I know that the PD was able to acquire some helmets from Marine Park Technical College that is donating some, and there might be other avenues for donations. So, because we're not trying to get kids not to ride all the things, we just want them to be a little safer. So they can give out helmets in town to kids that need one if they need one. And Officer Stocks is going to be able to do education at both schools in town to let them know about all the new things. So.
Hold on.
We've got 20 helmets. So if you know of anyone that they're mostly kids helmets. Matter of fact, I think they all might be kids helmets. But if you know of anybody that needs one, send them on our way. We've got 20 of them. So we're going to put a big shout out, thank you to Marine Park for giving us those too. So
that'd be good.
All right, any questions for Marie?
Is this gonna be hard to oversee as far as the kids? Like especially, I've seen kids ride double and, a big kid and a little kid.
That's the enforcement side.
That's the police.
Right.
that's us. That's the enforcement side. And basically the rules for that are the same as the bicycle rules. There's a couple different caveats with the electric motors and stuff like that, but it's basically the same thing as the bicycle rules.
Okay.
And it's loosely enforced at best, I would say. More about, hey, kids don't ride double because that's not safe.
Right, okay.
Jim?
I guess my only question probably goes to the chief, enforcement. I see a lot of these bicycle, or whatever you want to call them, operators are probably some of the worst traffic hazards in the city. I don't expect officers to be riding up down the street looking for people violating this, but case in point, tonight I park over in the parking lot next to the building. I'm walking up, there's somebody turning into the driveway to mail a letter, okay? Bicycle coming down the sidewalk, I don't know, I can't predict how fast the thing was going. But the operator on that bicycle had no intentions of giving that car that was in the process of turning the right of way. And there was almost a collision right out there tonight.
That would fall on the driver of the vehicle more than it would on, because they've got to yield to pedestrians, because they are allowed on the sidewalk. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't both not really paying attention there, but in that case, Jim, it'd fall more on the driver of the vehicle, because they have to yield to all pedestrians. So hypothetically, they should have waited for the bicycle to pass before they pulled it. I don't know the specific case. I don't know if the bicycle was really screaming and the person in the car didn't know how fast they were going. That's what almost caused the collision. I don't know that, but we're going to have that. But that's kind of why we put this ordinance in place. So if we do have to enforce something, we now have a backbone to enforce it, because we had nothing before. So that's the purpose of this. In case something that kind of protects the city, to say, look, we've got a policy in place. If they violated that policy, then they're subject to whatever the penalties are there. If they're over 16, they could get a traffic ticket if they're under 16, they get a municipal citation, things like that. So that's why that's why we did that, really. It came up that meet the mayor, meet the chief, and meet that one gentleman was adamant, and he was right. He was adamant that we get an ordinance in place, and it's been in the works since then. But that's why we have that now. And then that I didn't witness that one, Jim, so it's tough for me to say like who would be at fault there. But you're right. I mean, that happens a lot, all too often. That's why we have an ordinance now.
Also, hopefully with the stocks doing some of the training in the schools, it'll help awareness some of that too.
Awareness.
Are there any other questions for Marie? Or if not, treasurer, please call the roll.
Marie,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Congratulations, Marie. All right, next we're acting on resolution 2026-04. This resolution is to support a community health and well-being through collaboration with the City of Mabel Tag Center. First,
So moved.
Second.
I'd just like to say I'm very happy. I think this is a great thing. I've been waiting for Horicon and able to team up on this for a number of years.
so in short, like it says in the resolution, hopefully Horicon residents now will have the reduced non-resident rate if they want to join the Tag Center. And Mabel residents will have the resident rate if they want to join the Horicon Aquatic Center. Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Is there any questions on this? All right, if not, treasurer, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
All right, next is acting on resolution 2026-05. This resolution authorizes the approval of work change directives, change orders, and project expenditures for the wastewater treatment plant project. Forrest,
So moved.
Second.
is there any questions on this one? Is it straightforward? All right, hearing none, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right, I'm looking for a motion to act on resolution 2026-06. This resolution amends the 2026 general fund budget.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Just to go over this one a little bit, we had to adjust our budget just a smidge by 0.01% essentially. So I found an expense that we plan on not doing in 2026. It's the window, the partition window in the clerk's office that we received a quote for, we budgeted for, and we no longer are doing. This was to qualify for our Wisconsin expenditure restraint program for our 2026 budget. And the rounding mechanism for the state of Wisconsin was different from the one that I was utilizing. So our budget essentially qualified for 3.4% increase from 2025, and it had to be less than 3.4% of an increase. I did reach out to the state of Wisconsin, the DOR, just to see if they would make an exception, and they said no. We do have the form is due on May 1st, so that's why I'm bringing you this amendment now, so that way we can push this through and then qualify for our expenditure restraint program.
This puts us at 3.34.
Yeah, I have the new calculated percentage is at the bottom on the resolution.
And she was working with them the whole time, so this was their suggestion. So
Yeah.
as long as I sign it tonight, she can get it filled out.
Yep. I did speak with the Baker Tilly team too, because how did this happen? Why did this happen? With so many eyes on it, I feel like the first year that I was here, and I contacted Tyler. He agreed that everything looked okay on our end. It, again, just as that rounding mechanism from the state was just a smidge different than what we had here. So apologize for that, and it won't happen again.
Any questions for Chrissy? Right here, none. Treasurer, call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, next we're gonna act on the certified survey map for Marine Park. Lisa?
Okay, that's the map for, certified map for Marine Park Technical College.
You make a motion?
I so move.
Second.
It is what it is.
Yeah, if you want me to go over it, it's basically a smaller version of this in your packet. On the original lot 2 that Moraine Park currently owns off of Rookie Street, they're adding a spot of land in the northwest corner and on the south side to make that lot a little bigger to accommodate some future plans for them. They're also looking at the purchase of lot 3 in the near future. And they wanted that property line moved further south to incorporate some wetlands and some additional frontage there, which is great because the city's getting rid of that wetlands and Moraine Park is taking it. There is also a right-of-way being placed between lot 3 and lot 4, just for future use that would ultimately someday line up with Horicon Street behind the church. If that would ever go through someday, we're putting it there now because A, it lines up decent, and B, there's a lift station that's on the east side. That's going to be in lot 3, and then this allows the city to have a permanent access route to get that with the new property line moving south, that they'll be able to put a temporary roadway in and things like that to have access to the lift station. So there's also some other access and storm easements that were thrown around on the east side of the lot. I think that's pretty much everything we've done.
That's it. That was what we went over in planning commission. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions for either Alex or Lisa?
Yeah, what was lot 2 for on here?
Lot 2 is what.
Oh, that's what they
currently
existing have.
owns,
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we're ultimately making lot 2 bigger,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions? All right, Matt, treasurer, please call the roll.
Lisa,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, next we're acting on the 2026 Baker Tilly County and supporting report contract. Forrest,
So moved.
second. Move over to the. Or Chrissy do it?
You have Chrissy do it, she can explain it better because we're going from contract to hourly.
Yep, so this is a new contract from the Baker Tilly team, the Indiana Baker Tilly team. So this is different from our auditing team. This is an educational support team that I utilize. Who Tyler and Maya typically are. Tyler's presented here and was here for the budget as well. They are proposing another contract. Last time we did a contract that was a cap amount, which I believe was roughly around $100,000. This proposal is a little bit different. There is no cap, and it is an hourly rate. Couple good things, bad, like positives, negatives. We get an hourly rate, so it's one flat rate. So like Tyler's hourly rate is down to Maya's hourly rate. He makes much more than Maya does. So now we'll get him at a cheaper rate essentially for his services and his hours. The con to this one a little bit is that there is no cap. So you can spend as much as you would like, but I do plan on monitoring it with PNF through the payables and any kind of reporting mechanism that they would like to see as well throughout this year, essentially.
We have asked for quarterly updates on
Yeah.
spending, so we keep track of it throughout the year to make sure that we're within the, is it 100,000 is where we usually cap
Typically, yeah,
in
yep.
previous years?
So try to stick around that. And this time around, it's more requested support than them coming to us saying, or myself more than anything, saying, hey, we need to work on this. It's gonna be me saying, hey, I need support with this process or education. So a little bit of a change up, but I think for the positive.
Great. Any questions for Forrest or Chrissy? Hearing none. Call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, 19, looking for a motion to act on a request for rental of 1909 Jersey Street at Disher from the Horicon Rec Department.
I so move.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
The next 10 are all for the Horicon Phoenix program. Starting off, 20, act on request for the use of Kiwanis by the Horicon Phoenix program for the 2026 Farmers Market Music in the Market.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Marie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Next is acting on the request for the use of amplified music in Kiwanis Park by the Horicon Phoenix program for music in the market.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on the request by the HPP to place a portable toilet in Kiwanis.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on a request from the HPP to have a horse in Kiwanis during 2 dates of the 2026 Farmers Market.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on the request for the use of Kiwanis Park by the HPP for the 2026 Horicon Farm to Table Dinner.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All right, now, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
The next one looks exactly the same.
It sure does.
So we're skip over 25. We're right to 26, and we're act on a request of use of a stretch of Bowling Green Park along the river for the Horicon 2026 Horicon Park Duck Races as a fundraiser for Friends of the Horicon Parks.
So moved.
Second.
I think 25 was supposed to be for the amplified music for the dinner. So we're gonna wanna get that on the next one.
Yeah, we can note that.
That's
25 is for the building, it's for the use of the building, not for the, and the park. Except they're using the
Oh,
park,
you're right.
and there's one for the building.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
All
okay.
right,
So we'll go back to that.
we'll go back to that one. Yeah. We'll go back to 25 after. 26, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
I have Bansma and Fenske, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Thanks to Alex, our friend at MSA. We're gonna act on the request of the use of the Kiwanis Park building for the 2026 Horicon Farm to Table Dinner.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Here, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on a request for amplified music in Bowling Green Park by the Horicon Phoenix program for the 2026 Horicon Park Duck Races.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Right here, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on an issuance of a temporary Class B beer retailer's beverage license for the Horicon Phoenix program for Kiwanis Park on Wednesdays, June 3rd through September 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Right here, none, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Next, we're acting on an issuance of a temporary Class B beer retailer's beverage license for the Horicon Phoenix program for Disher on Sunday, August 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
And finally, acting on the issuance of a temporary Class B wine retailer's beverage license to the Horicon Phoenix program for Kiwanis Park on Sunday, September 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right. We're at 31, acting on disposal of records by the city clerk's office.
So moved.
Second.
This is the regularly scheduled one, so. Any questions? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Next, we're acting on the hiring of summer part-time parks personnel.
So move.
Second.
Give it to Rich right there.
Who we got, Rich?
Got Malcolm Covey to Taylor A. Strike and Ethan Strife, they're returning at, do you want the wages or
Yep.
$14.50? And Christian Schwartz will be his first year at $14 per hour.
All right, any other questions for Rich? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
Next is an act on the placement of the fish stocking signs by the Lake Mississippi Association.
So move.
Second.
I don't know if it's necessarily in there. You guys know about that a little bit, right? The Lake Mississippi Association reached out to Cody, which this is one time I wish it was on. And all it is, they're just a sign in some of the park saying, hey, people that are here to fish, we're stocking the area south of the dam. And that's all, they're just little unobtrusive blue signs that say fish stocking done by Lake Mississippi Association. There aren't any warnings or anything, it's just letting the public know that, hey, they're throwing fish out there, so there's more fishing for people to do.
And they're making the signs, right?
They're doing everything. It's just basically allowing Cody to determine where to put the signs. Along with Rich. Is there any other questions on it? All right, here's the clerk, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right, next we have act on Town and Country's building demolition contract with the amount of 24921, corner of Mill Street and Highway 33, also known as 115 southbound.
So move.
Second.
This, somewhere in here should be the quote, correct?
Mhm.
And that's gonna be for the demo of the city-owned building at 115 South Main Street.
Have you did, Clear for that?
Oh,
It is contingent on Clear's approval or attorney approval.
yeah, if we can get that amended, or the motion amended, where it says, I guess contingent on
Mm-hmm.
attorney Clear's approval. So that was made by Jim. Is that okay, Jim, to amend it? That's his Clear's approval? Yes. Okay.
That's what I heard him say.
Yeah, right.
Did the
All right,
fire
is there any
department?
questions? Huh?
Did the fire department get to do the thing that they were doing in there?
They're not gonna have time, because it took about 18 extra days. And then I think if you guys approve the demolition contract, it might come down tomorrow,
Whoa.
or pretty quick. Am I right? I mean, it could be very fast.
They've got a few things, Town and Country's got a few things going on, but
Yeah, it could be as fast as next week.
There gets a green light on it.
Yeah, so that's why we gotta get moving on it, because we're getting
I was just wondering.
the prices to try to get it done this spring.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? You're hearing none, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
All right, next we're gonna act on the agreement for pipelining services from HydroClean.
What is this for?
Yeah,
I can tell you after somebody makes a motion.
I so move.
Second.
All right, Matt.
So in the past, we've done manhole rehabs. A lot of that, some of it was structural, but a lot of it is to prevent I&I, don't know if inflow and infiltration. That's where a lot of groundwater will seep into the sewer system, and we end up treating clear water at the wastewater plant that doesn't need to be treated, just extra money, energy, everything all around. Over the years, we've done a lot of manholes. We've kind of come to a point where, do we still have a problem with them? Yes. I mean, any city that tells you they don't have a problem, just flat out lie. With pipelining, it's kind of the same thing. It's a semi-permanent solution. It's not as good as laying new pipe, but extremely cheap. As long as the pipe is structurally sound, anywhere where you're having the same I&I, this will prevent a lot, if not all of it, until you can get to a time, 5, 10, maybe more years down the road to actually replacing the underground utilities. So it prevents all that water from entering down at the sewer plant. Expands our capacity because we're not treating clear water that doesn't need to be treated. It's already groundwater. Costing less money all around.
It's costing us more than $77,000 to treat the clean water, the clear water.
Yeah, the amount of I&I mean, if you really wanted to get a study, you're looking at probably north of 100,000. The last time I saw numbers to do an actual I&I study. But yeah, like I said, any municipality that tells you they don't have an I&I problem is flat out lying to you.
Sure, I get that. Just want to make sure that this is what we have right now is costing us more than what it's going to take to correct.
Yeah, so like you said, you're buying years with this. So instead of, doing a road project, which, you're looking at hundreds of thousands and millions to replace this, this is buying you years where if your road's fine, why do you want to replace the road with? Or you can buy extra time at a fraction of the cost.
I have nothing further.
It's about 2,000 feet of pipe.
Yeah, it's 5 different sections. So every year we jet and televise about a third of the city. And so we actually have camera footage of essentially the whole town from basically every third year. So you can monitor spots that, are going to be a problem. We can see what's becoming worse. Where's our money going to be best spent preventing all this water coming in? So that's what we've done is we've really kind of created a system of, identifying where are our big problems, where is this money going to be the best spent. That's where we're targeting.
Where did you target this year?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Any other
It doesn't-
questions for
It
Matt?
just has 5 sections.
Yeah, it says 5. Any other questions for Matt? Go ahead.
We gotta include them all in the motion. And why I say that is this redefined equipment group says the quote has not been approved by the item fleet management. So we're gonna see that something up later.
Good question.
Great statement.
Make a motion to amend the motion to include the amount of $77,414.86. The second one. Okay. This is the fun stuff. Approve the amendment to approve the motion. Let's double our votes.
All right, any other questions on anything? Right here, none, clerk, just call the roll.
Yeah. Do
Forrest.
the amendment first. Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Maureen.
Hi.
Lisa.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
The motion with the amendment.
What?
Now you're gonna call the roll for the actual motion.
Yeah, which is Lisa.
All right. Lisa.
Aye.
Maureen.
Hi.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
All right, going to page 3. Looking for a motion to act on a change order number 3 from Copeland and Keenest for East Walnut and North Cedar Street reconstruction project.
So moved.
Second.
Can you go over that a little?
So this is basically the final change order for the project to say that we're 100% complete. We originally had a contract for $1.95 million. We had change order 1, which I don't think was any money. I think that was just specs and stuff. change order 2 added almost $22,000 for, there was a 2-inch water service, there was some additional concrete that came out, and there was something else on there, I don't remember what it was. And then basically now that everything is done, all the quantities are measured, everything is ready to be, the final retainage is ready to be paid to the contractor. We're $3,680.94 under the latest budget, which included change order 1 and 2. And this would basically close out the project and say that this was the final cost, and we're ready for the next road.
All right, is there any questions for Alex?
So ultimately, the last time we discussed, we approved change order 2, and we're landing right now budget-wise somewhere in between the original contract and where we were planning with change order 2. So about $18,000 over the original contract of $1.95 million.
Excellent. Great. Any other questions? Right here, none. Clerk, call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
We've got operator licenses. Marie?
I'll make a motion to approve a 2-year operator license for Robert Wagner.
Second.
Any questions for Marie? Right here, none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Marie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, next we're to act on the financial statement for March of 2026.
Motion to approve financial statement for 2026 March.
Second.
Any questions for Forrest? Right here, none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Act on the bills for April. Forrest?
Motion to approve the bills for April in the amount of $949,832.19.
Second.
Any questions? Right here, none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, next meeting day would be the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Is that good with everyone?
26th.
Yeah.
I won't be here for that one.
Are you going all week?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, then I say we keep it to
Would
26th.
have to be, yeah, I'm leaving I'm leaving the 23rd. That's Saturday.
We'll keep it just a regular scheduled day.
Okay.
And if we have to change it, we change it. All right. Need a motion to adjourn the closed.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, I am going to end the screen.
Chrissy?